On today's episode of the Mark Titus Show, Brandon Walker made the 1.5-hour, 2-hour drive into the studio in Chicago. He moved to Chicago, quote unquote, but he actually lives like basically in Wisconsin. And I made him drive in to come on the show and talk about all sorts of things. This is Brandon's third, fourth time on the show at this point, and we always take it a million different directions. And today was no different. I opened up asking him about the Women's World Cup. we talked about Kirby Smart's schedule. A big stretch talking about hazing. That was a lot of fun. I know a lot of you tune into the Brandon episodes to hear him just say crazy shit. It's with a heavy heart that he did not say anything racist on this show. So yeah, I wanted Brandon to play the hits. You know, every time he comes on the show, he just says something it's going to get him and maybe even myself canceled. I really don't feel like he did that this show, but you might have to listen and see. I'm sure you can find something. But yeah, we always have a good time when he comes on, and today was no different. So enjoy a conversation with Brandon Walker that went a million different directions. All right, not a lot going on in the sports world. All these sports shows are scraping the bottom of the barrel for content, and this show is no different as we welcome on Brandon Walker. There is this going on. Go at what? What are you going to say?
Well, we've got to have a conversation about your hair. What's going on with your hair? What is the strategy with your hair? I know my hair's a mess.
10 seconds before we started recording, you poured body armor water in your hair or in your hand.
What's
rubbed them
going
together
on with yours? What's the strategy with your hair in the back there?
Yeah, it looks right now. It looks a lot better. Wearing a hat's tough because it starts to look like a mullet when I got the hat on, and I got to start.
Well, what is it if you don't have the hat on?
I look like Fabio.
Okay.
Like, I just got like flowing locks. Like you know what it really looks sick?
No.
And it's not going to help me now because I live in Chicago. But when I'd go to the beach.
Oh, when you're on the Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah, and I come out of the water and I flip it back.
Yeah.
The chicks, you would not believe the chicks that would run up to me and just be like,
so,
"Can I please have sex with you?" And I was like, "No."
Your problem is
not now.
You've got a haircut built for the Pacific Ocean breeze.
I do, yeah.
And now you're in the Midwest and you haven't adjusted yet.
There's also this, Brandon. There's a stalemate going on where it's like I'm reaching an age where I realize a lot of my peers, and I'm not trying to put anybody down.
Sure.
I don't have any particular person in mind, but a lot of people my age are struggling with hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like I've been blessed with a great head of hair that I should just ride this, because I think like once I cut it, once I go back to the crew cut,
right,
the Midwest, like, high and tight.
Sure.
That's it for me, and I'll never grow my hair out again. So I kind of just want to ride this out as long as I can.
So you're just dealing with the advancing and progressing graying.
Yeah, I got really bad gray hair and my beard and everything. But you don't have that.
No, because I shave. When I do have a beard, it's all entirely
gets
gray. Yeah, it's bad.
Very disgusting.
I look very old. I do want to. So you found the group of women on the West Coast that would just come out and say, "Hey, can I please have sex with you?"
Yeah, it was crazy. Like I don't know.
Women be like that, man.
I don't know if it was like that for everybody, but it was for me. It was crazy. It was wild.
Women be like that all the time.
Speaking of women, one thing we can talk about in the sports world, the Women's World Cup starting on Thursday. The United States play Friday night, and you were saying, I stopped you because you were saying off air. You were saying like women's sports are a joke, and I don't understand why women keep playing. And I was like, save this for the show. So would you like to do the rant you were doing? Because I thought it was, I disagree with you, but I thought you were making some interesting points. And I just wanted you to save for the show. So why is it that you hate the Women's World Cup and that you think they do not deserve equal play?
So I do not think women's sports is worthless. I mean, it does give us people like Livy Dunn.
Oh my God.
It gives us some great. No.
What's your favorite Livy Dunn moment in her gymnastics career?
Oh, the flips.
The flips.
Yeah, the flips.
The flips. Okay.
And then the bars. The bars and stuff. I'm a big bars guy. The floor exercise.
Seriously? How much Women's World Cup will you watch?
I'll probably watch zero.
Unbelievable.
I watched the Men's World Cup, but it's hard enough to watch the Men's World Cup.
We're gonna win. There's no does no part of you have like, because I get it, Brandon. I do. I'm a guy who gets it. It's not the most enthralling thing for a lot of people.
That's what we're starting with, the Women's World Cup.
It's going on, Brandon.
That's
but what I was going to say is the United States winning, I'll never get sick of that. So, like, I'm going to watch it because I'll never get – I don't care what gender, what age, what anything else. If you told me you can turn on an event and the United States is going to beat the shit out of everybody, I want to watch it. But I'm more progressive. Like I have a more, I'm like more with the times than you are. You're still stuck.
That's fine. It's also like in Australia and New Zealand, right? So you're going to be waking up at like 3 a.m. to watch the United States against Finland.
Don't actually.
You know what's going to happen? You're not going to watch a single game. What you're going to do is you're going to see the highlight and the goals on Twitter, and you're going to claim to have watched the game. Mm-hmm. That's how progressive you are.
Yeah, but it sounds like it's more than what you're going to do.
100% yes.
What else? So big topic in sports right now is running backs, or like the death of the running back.
Right.
Do you have any thoughts on this? I am curious. Like, I'm not. This isn't a joke. This is.
It's kind of.
I'm not joking. You are older. You are
sure
significantly older than me. So
significant's a big word.
You grew up in a heyday when running backs were a big deal. Does some part of you feel like this is?
I mean, running backs were a big deal till like 2010, right?
Yeah.
Sean Alexander won MVP. LaDainian Tomlinson, they went back to back. Like, I feel like it's weird because the death of the running back and the death of the classic big man in basketball have happened at about the same time, but the big man that are in basketball are still getting paid.
Well, the big men in basketball also are the MVPs still. So basketball is really weird because it is. I think there is like everyone talks about the modern era of basketball as a 3-point revolution, and it is. But also, the MVP race was Jokic and Embiid.
Yeah, but they're evolved forms of the classic big man. They're not back to the basket big man. You put Jokic out on the top of the key and let him facilitate the offense every time down, and Embiid steps out and shoots threes.
So what are we talking about when we're talking about the death of the big man? It's like Shaq. There's no Shaqs.
There's no Shaqs. There's no Chris Dudleys. There's none of those guys.
We want to see like big dudes that can't dribble and can't shoot. That's not all they can do is just like sumo wrestle on the block.
That's not what we want to see, but that's what basketball was for so long. Yeah. And then it died out, and it evolved past that. And football has done the same thing. Football is a passing man's game now, but we don't. It's weird because the few big men that are left in basketball, like DeAndre Ayton, I believe is one, right?
Yeah,
he's one. He's a classic back to the basket big.
Oh, you're talking, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's.
But he gets paid, and those running backs don't. Those running backs just don't get paid, and they're you know what running backs are to these teams?
What?
They're rental cars.
Well, because I think it's less like I think where we're at with running backs is less that running backs aren't important, and it's more that they're easily replaceable.
Right.
That's what, because I think like running the football still matters in football. You still have to have a good running game.
When you rent a car, do you care how hard you drive it? Do you care how fast you go? No, you just drive it, then you drop it off.
Right.
You take it for a week, and then you drop it off. That's what running backs are. They'll ride them into the ground, and then they'll just move on to the next one. The guy who you can draft in like the 6th round is not that much worse than, I don't know, who's the best running back? Derrick Henry probably. He's definitely worse. He was 2 years ago, but
he's definitely worse than. But like in terms of what the market, like it doesn't make sense to just dump a shit ton of money into a running back when you can get a guy in terms of value. Like, but to the point of like stylistically, I think running the football still matters. So I think like, and even talking about big men in basketball, I think like Jokic and Embiid, they have more evolved games, but at the end of the day, both of those dudes can park their ass on the block and give you work, and that's still a thing.
Well, speaking of the value of running the football, it's just kind of done differently now, right? The Eagles, one of the best running teams in NFL history last year. They did it with 3 running backs and a quarterback who could run.
Yeah.
They spread it out, and they never really married themselves to one running back. One week it would be Boston Scott, then it would be Miles Sanders, then it would be Kenneth Gainwell. It would be just anybody.
So that's the issue with running backs, is that it can be anybody. It's not that –
right.
I don't think running's gone away. Running still matters. It's just that you're –
the days of turning to the same horse and giving him the ball 400 times are kind of over.
Is that sad?
Although Derrick Henry still
is that sad to you? Do you get nostalgic?
I don't get nostalgic. I mean, sports change, right? And frankly, I think the modern era of NFL football, which is throw the ball 40, 50 times a game, is more exciting to watch than what I grew up on, which was, run the ball, get to 3rd and 2, and hopefully and just maintain possession. The New York Giants, the Buffalo Bills back there, the Bills were a little open, but the Giants back then were just boring.
I liked it.
No, you didn't.
I liked watching. Yeah.
No, you didn't. Nobody likes. Nope. Everybody says this. I like the defense. Nobody likes watching 15-13 football games.
You didn't like line them up and see who's a man, like that kind of football. Like, let's just.
When have you experienced that? When did you ever?
I played high school, we talked about this last show, Brandon. When I played high school football,
Indiana.
When I actually got out there and was taking part in 2-a-days and was actually.
Were you excited to line up and show who's a man, or were you excited?
When I was lining up to punt the football,
right.
What was going through my head was,
look at all those men in front of me.
I'm going to show everybody here who's the best man by kicking the shit out of this football.
I'm going to put this ball on my foot, and they're going to know I'm a man. Then I'm going to run off the sideline, and I'm going to pray they don't put me in the game again.
So you don't get nostalgic. That seems surprising about you. I feel like because how nostalgic you are about like pop culture stuff. I feel like with sports you would be more. There's no what's like the number one thing that you're like. I get sports changed, but what the fuck are we doing with this?
I really don't have one. Like baseball has changed.
The DH? Mine's the DH. Mine's the DH in the National League.
The DH existed. Since
the National League.
1973. You were born in 75, so the DH
Not
was
in the
around.
National League.
I don't care. Are you really nostalgic for pitchers hitting?
Yes, I am.
You're really nostalgic. You want a guy that comes up who's 1 for 67?
Shohei Ohtani is proving right now that we
Shohei
don't need
Ohtani
DH.
is a unicorn.
And he's awesome.
He is awesome, but
so why can't if he can do it? Why can't everybody just simply be as good as Shohei Ohtani?
I think when the American League went to the DH in 1973. I think the National League should have been like, okay, cool, we'll do it too. You
don't think there was something so cool? I thought baseball was the coolest thing in the world when I was growing up because there was 2 leagues, never played each other, ever. Ever.
Okay, you
never won, and you're just like, I think the best team in the National League is better than I don't know.
Hit on something. I am nostalgic for that. The separation of leagues back then was a lot better. I remember the first interleague game was about 97 or something like that. I remember watching it thinking, this is awesome, but now it's just, there's nothing special about it all. The separation of leagues of baseball was awesome.
And
the All-Star game actually meant something because those guys never played each other.
You never saw it. And then also with that, the DH being in one league, I love that the DH was in the American League, and I love that the DH was not in the National League. And I thought that was so fucking cool that there was a professional sports league that was constructed this way where they are sort of playing 2 different sports. And if you wanted to watch American League baseball, you're just watching home runs and like the power and the – and National League was more of the old school, like get a guy on, bunt him over. Oh shit, we got the pitcher coming up. Well, how do we handle this? The strategy of it, you can't.
I don't care about strategies. But speaking of designated hitter, coolest job in sports, right?
I would say so, yeah.
Cool. But, like I just have to go up and hit 4 times.
But I think it's cool if you're playing well. If you're not playing well, that like if you're 0 for 4. On the day when all you have to do is hit.
You think you would?
That's got to be brutal.
Do you think your mind would need the fielding or the going out there and fielding aspect to stay in the game?
I would. Yeah, it would be very hard for me to sit on a bench for like 40 minutes and then come up and face major league pitching and then go sit back down for 40 minutes.
What do they do? Do you think they go down into the tunnel and go to the cage or something? You think they go watch TV?
Question. I had that thought. I was a Wrigley the other night, and they brought in a pinch runner late in the game, and I had that thought about him. I was like, "Is this guy just been sitting here the whole fucking game? Like, is he gonna just blow his hamstring? Like, what does he do in between innings? Is he doing jumping jacks down there?
How are you liking living in Chicago? Just going to Wrigley every now and then.
I love it. It's a dream come true. I walked home from the game the other night, and I was like, I can't believe
that's a show-off move.
I had a LeBron in the pool moment where I was like, I can't believe this is my life.
You live 2 miles away from Wrigley.
Yeah, so I walked home. What's the problem?
That's an absurd amount to walk home.
Your last name is literally literally Walker.
I didn't have a choice.
Walker.
I didn't have a choice. I was born into it.
How is this?
I was born into it.
What's too far of a walk for you?
Over half a mile.
Oh my God.
Over. If I look down and I see if I see 0.4, I'm like, we can walk this. If I see 0.6, I'm starting to think, okay, this is a problem.
So
if there's a 1 in front of it, no chance.
So you're going 0.6 miles. You decide I'm not walking that. You get an Uber. You get in the Uber.
Okay.
The guy drops you off, and no part of you has shame as you get out of the Uber when you're like, thanks for the 0.6 mile ride.
What city am I in?
It's Chicago or New York.
Okay, because
very walkable cities.
New York, you're usually going to be able to walk 0.6 faster than you can Uber 0.6. So that's a different story. But if you're saying if the Uber is faster, probably twice as fast as the walk, I'm Ubering every time.
I am new to the city. I want to walking.
No, you don't.
Walking's a great way to like walk by a dive bar and you're like, oh, I didn't realize that was there. Because if you just go to Google Maps and you're like, where are good bars? They're gonna send you to all the trendy places.
Do you think you're better than
where
me?
the douchebags hang out? The more I talk to you, the more I start wondering. I'm starting to arrive at that. How was living in? You drove in today. We're recording this in the Barstool studio. You live. I said this to you off air, but I think that you're prematurely patting yourself on the back for your big W and choice of house and location and all that, where you're not actually coming into the office. You're just going fishing every fucking day.
Yep.
And
catching a lot of fish
too. I think in your mind you're like, I'm smarter than all these idiots who are living in the city. I think you're in for a rude awakening, Brandon. Was this the first time you drove in for?
During the day, yes. It was the first time I drove. My house, as we sit right now in Wrigleyville, basically, my house is 56 miles away. it's 56 miles away. It's not close, but yeah, today was my first. I left at 8:05, and I got here at 9:31. So it took me an hour and 26. That's not bad. If that's
an hour 26,
if that's the average coming in, I'm okay.
So how many times you and I are doing? You can't resist just letting the cat out of the bag that we're doing a live show together.
Because I'm actually on shows every day and people see my face. I don't just do a podcast with TJ once a week. I'm out there. I have to say something to fill the time.
Okay, but don't you think there would have been some value in like making an announcement and then saying and like capitalizing on the moment and saying like, here's a new show. Go here to subscribe. Go here to follow, go like whatever. But now we've been teasing the show for like 3 months that like there are a lot of people probably listening to this. They're like, they still haven't launched that show yet?
No, I don't think so, because I think the people know the Office, the September thing for the Office is a real thing.
But if we're gonna do a daily,
are you mad at me for leaking that we were? No, I told you I was gonna do it.
I just want to know the strategy behind it. I was because it felt very.
I have no strategy.
It felt very YOLO, where you just came on the show and you're like, "Can I say it?" And I was like, "I don't know. We should probably talk off air." And you're like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna say it. We're doing a show together." I was like, "All right."
That is how I said it. Fuck
it. So we're doing a live show together.
Right.
Every morning, and you have a 56-mile drive. That's what I think the Mark Titus show has always been, is just practice me practicing doing solo shows for when you're 45 minutes late to our hour-long live show. When you pop in
your
for
whole
the last 15
professional life
minutes.
is just, at Barstool has been preparing for when I fuck you over.
When you're like, traffic, who saw this coming? Who saw this coming?
So the way I look at it, and we're actually recording today at 10 a.m., which is the time we're going to be doing our show, right?
Yeah.
So it's good practice. I left at 8. I don't think I could trust that every day. I'm probably going to have to leave the house at like 6:30 or 7. and I think it's just going to be I think it's just going to be a complete life change where I'm going to be the early guy now. Yeah. I'm going to be like, if I get there 7:30 or 8 every day, by the time y'all get to the office, I've already shot 100 threes. Are
you a morning guy in general, would you say?
No, I'm not.
What time on a weekend, on a Saturday morning? It's not football Saturday. It's just a random Saturday where there's nothing going on. What time are you waking up?
9:30, 10 o'clock maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I'll sleep in.
You got blackout curtains? How do you sleep through the? I wake up when the sun. Not because I want to. Just like I can't sleep.
I've got friends who've done that. I don't understand that. I can sleep through the sun, no problem.
I could go to the sun. I could go to bed at 4 a.m. and I'm waking up when the sun gets up.
That's bullshit. You're lying. There's no way.
I'll do it right now. I'll do it right now. I'll prove it.
The sun comes up at 5:30. And you've gone to bed at 4. You're just waking up because the sun's up?
I'm not like waking up and like hopping out of bed and saying like, oh, it's a beautiful day and like going to working out. I'm like groggily getting up. And
when's the last time you went to bed at 4 a.m.?
It's been a while. I got very old very
4
fast.
4 a.m. is not something I see on either side now, either staying up or going or waking up.
The awesome part about living in LA was being able to go to bed very early. That Monday Night Football gets over at 8.
That Pacific time zone's a cheat code.
Yeah, and I would just go to bed, and I love that. And I'm a little worried that I'm going to become a night owl here, but we're not too bad. We get Central Time.
At least we're not in the Eastern time zone.
Yeah, we're not in Eastern. So.
Eastern time zone's garbage.
What else? Northwestern. I was talking to White Sox Dave about this a little bit on the show. The Pat Fitzgerald stuff that's going on. That's in the news. You're a college football guy.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that? Because
I have two schools of thought here. Number one is I am a college football guy and I cover college football and I'm in college football. It would be nice if we lived in a world where when these things break, you're able to give it a couple days before you form your take, before the line forms to fire the guy, right?
Oh, okay.
Because
why do we need to do that? Why can't?
Well, we found out last Saturday that he had been under investigation. He had been suspended for 2 weeks, and then once news leaked of what he got investigated for, and it came out that he was hazing and stuff, it was just the mob formed on Twitter. Bam, get him out, and he's gone. And
do you think they fired him because of the mob?
I think they did. Ultimately, I think one of two things happened. They underestimated how bad people would react. That's number one. Or they just underestimated how bad it was. Now, if they learn later that it was worse than they thought, so they fired him, I can understand that. If they did fire him because of the mob, that's kind of bullshit.
What if there's I'll give you a third scenario. They knew how bad the hazing was. They initially thought that he had kind of just heard something about it. Like he's like, yeah, I think there's something going on there.
Right.
And then they later found out that he knew everything and he was, he wanted
complicit,
this.
Yeah.
He was active in it. He was encouraging it.
The only problem with that theory is, and that's a fine theory, is even when they fired him in their official statement, they said they made a statement saying there's no evidence he knew about this stuff. So they said that in their official statement.
What if there was no evidence and then they got evidence?
But that doesn't make sense because in their official firing statement, they said there's no evidence.
My initial reaction to stuff like this, and maybe this is just me being like a sheep and naive, and I should get better at this, but I just always assume that they know shit I don't know. Like I assume that like Northwestern, the people who fire, I don't think it was like a mob deal. I just think they're just like, yeah, I'm sure they had, like, because everyone would ask me, like, do you think they should have fired him? I'm like, I mean, from what I read, I don't know. Like, if they probably, I don't know what he knew and didn't, but I'm sure that they did their due diligence. But there is a world where they didn't. And maybe in Northwestern, if we're being honest with ourselves, they are a university that would kowtow to, like,
the mob,
the mob, the PR part of this. And, yeah.
Well, you know what's weird is they also just fired their baseball coach for running his program the wrong way. So they're cleaning things out. Now I've heard the baseball coach deserved it, so that's what it is. Secondly, bigger than Northwestern is, I think college football as a whole, every coaching staff in America the day after he got fired probably sat down and said, all right, guys.
It's like, shit,
we got
wait, you can get in trouble for that?
Right.
Like, that's not.
You got to tell me everything that's going on in this program, and I got to know.
Yeah.
And if I already knew, let's act like I didn't know, and now you tell me, and we got to root it out now because hazing is such a weird and stupid concept anyway.
Well,
right?
I want to talk about this, and I don't know where I land on it because maybe that's what we do here is we figure out where we land on it. Hazing is complicated because the word hazing is obviously bad, and I think if I told you there's hazing going on in a program, you're like, get it out of this program. But at the same time, I do think that like making the freshmen carry the bags off the bus to the senior captain's like, freshman, you got to carry my bag to my hotel room. I don't have a problem with that. When the dicks come out, that's obibly crossed the line.
Hey, freshman, carry my bags is a little bit different than hey, freshman, smell that guy's butthole. That's a little different.
Freshman, turn the lights off and bend over.
Right.
But hazing, and it's interesting because you read the reports, and I thought like some of the stuff in Northwestern, I don't know what all, maybe I should have, wrote down more notes of
Titus,
what they were talking about.
I think you just summed up life. I think you just summed up life when you said when the dicks come out, that's when shit goes crazy.
That's when it goes crazy.
That's life.
But every time, Northwestern or otherwise, every time I'm reading about hazing in college, mostly it seems to happen in high school. I feel like this is a big high school sports thing where hazing takes down some story out of Wisconsin where like if the football team was sticking broomsticks up assholes and shit like that. But whenever you're reading about these stories, it really isn't. If the dicks don't come out, like I generally don't have a problem with it. Where they're like, we made the backups had to run extra sprints, and I'm like, I get like maybe there's a world where it was really hot out.
Yeah.
I don't there is a line somewhere, but in general, you're not going to get me to cry too much if you're making guys run or making guys like pick up the tab at a restaurant, whatever. If this is the NFL or whatever, but when the dicks come out, that's always a problem.
Well, it's like the rule of 10, right? Like if 10 places are doing this hazing, 9 of them are probably doing it at an acceptable level of, hey, freshman, get my bags, hey, carry my helmet to the bus, stuff like that. And then there's always that 10th that is making somebody stick a ruler up somebody's asshole. So you gotta make sure the 10th guys need to get back in line with everybody else.
But the thing that the nerds of the world don't want to admit, and real jocks like you and I get, is that hazing, the first part of the hazing, the carry the bags, the whatever else, the acceptable for the non-dicks, the non-assholes version, I think it works. I think there is like I think having a system where you have to, I don't know if earn your way in is the right thing, but like like team bonding
earn respect. Earn
respect. That there is a real thing with that. So this is never going to go. These are going to be issues that sports deal with forever, because even in light of like this Pat Fitzgerald situation in Northwestern, to your point, I think there are college football coaches that are like, fuck, we gotta like take this a little more seriously, but it's never going to go away. The idea of like freshmen having to earn their keep is never going to go away.
Well, let's be honest. It's just me and you talking right here, right?
We're talking. There's no microphones.
It's just two dudes talking. Me and you, we got a show, right? Wouldn't you like to haze somebody right now?
Absolutely.
I would love to haze somebody.
I thought that's why I came to Barstool. I thought that's how it worked.
No, we're keeping the dicks out for now.
We're keeping
the equation. Keeping them out of the equation.
I was like, my dick's in. I didn't know my dick's in. You have your dick out?
It can be out at a moment's notice. Who knows? But yeah, hazing sounds awesome.
Yeah.
I know you're progressive and you're a piece of shit, but
I think it's when it gets labeled as hate. We need like another word for.
We need a softer word.
We need a softer word for hazing. We need a word for like hey rookie, you gotta do XYZ.
Yeah.
Tradition around here is you gotta. Yeah, we're going like in
Didn't
NBA
you make that girl out there go get you a pack of Zen earlier?
Yeah, the corporate world does hazing. The gopher, the guy who goes and gets the coffee, like is that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that not? And then the corporate world also.
I don't think the dicks are out of the corporate world.
They come out. They do come out. I think that's the problem. Is I think even in the corporate world. So yeah, like I don't. This isn't gonna change. You don't think so, right? Like this isn't gonna change the way college football. Like I think it'll last like a week or two.
I think that's what it'll do.
Go back to,
I think this summer teams and coaches will be vigilant about it and will be like, hey, it's in the news. We just saw a guy go down. Let's make sure we're cooling it out and stuff. And by next summer,
they're handing out their team handbooks, and they're like points of emphasis.
The orientation will have this in it.
Let's keep our dicks in our pants. And then by week 2, like they hire like one manager on staff who's like, I want you to look at everyone's dick and make sure it's not coming out.
By week 2, that guy's dressed up as a dominatrix. He's dressed up as a gimp.
What is it about? What is it about? Why do the dicks come out? I guess like that's what's weird to me is like
it's just good old American jocularity, right? You
what
get
is it
out
about
there,
the dry,
you're sweating together, you're
the dry humping and like because this is a common theme in every frat and every team that like whenever there's a scandal. Every single time you see a headline that's like there was hazing going on.
Titus, let's be honest. The dicks are never far from being out in any scenario in life. The dicks are never far from being out.
Why? What? I really don't. I'm thinking back to like when I played Division I basketball at Ohio State and set the program record for most wins and won the Big Ten twice and won 2 Big Ten tournaments and also went to the Final Four.
That is way too rehearsed and way too practiced and it's such bullshit that I can't believe it took this long to come up. It pisses me off it took this long to come up.
I'm thinking back on that 4-year stretch. We obviously fucked around with each other in terms of like, you fucking like I don't.
Who hasn't dry humped a buddy in the locker room?
No, what I'm saying is I never had of all the like pranks I would pull on teammates, of all the times Evan Turner would call me virgin or he would call me freshman when I was a year older than I'm a senior on the team, and he's like, hey, freshman, you got to,
That's very funny.
Of all the times
calling a senior freshman,
is very funny. Evan's a very funny guy. But all the times that this happened, and we would bust each other's balls and prank each other and all that sort of thing, there was never, from me or any of my teammates, I never remember a single time when like, hey, freshman, I'm going to come fucking dry hump you. And like, or hey, look at this. And we start flopping our dicks around. And so I'm really confused like how that comes to be. But that seems to be a consistent theme.
I just think of the upperclassmen like sitting in the locker room in the summer before the freshmen had gotten there. And they're looking at recruiting rankings. They're like, all right, see this guy? He's coming here. So
yeah,
let's get those dicks ready, boy. I don't know.
It's like a jackass pitch meeting when they're coming up with ideas for like jackass pranks. And
right.
Like that's what, like all the senior captains sit down. They're like, we really need to up our game this year. Like last year, I loved what you brought to the table with that ruler up the asshole. We gotta up this. We gotta up the stakes this year. Does anybody have any ideas? Any
how far can a tape measure go? That's what I want to know.
I don't understand.
But the thing, I guess, what it really comes down to is, if you get a group of 18 to 22-year-olds together for a prolonged period of time, they're going to do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Now, most stupid shit, 98% of stupid shit is fine. It just is. And then you got the 2% that goes beyond, and sometimes that shit can become tradition or become whatever. It's still stupid shit, but you don't see it like that. You just see it as the way we do things here, which is really it's fucked up. There's no doubt it's fucked up. But that's how it happens.
So we duct tape a guy to the goalpost, and then he's left to fend for himself.
That's funny.
Is that funny or is that bad?
How long are we leaving him? How long are we leaving him?
That's what I mean. Like I think there is a world where like that's acceptable and funny, and that should never leave sports. But also, if you told me this was in it was the middle of the day, say like just I'm trying to think of like a time like it's high noon, say.
And
the sun.
I mean,
it's
I'll have to leave the room.
And
that got TJ real good.
TJ loved that.
You did that on purpose. That was mean.
And it's Texas.
Yeah.
And it's West Texas, and it's 110 degrees, and this is August, and we do it, and we just leave them there for 7 hours, and like of course that's bad. But also, if you write out a story and like that's just the bullet point is like you'll never believe the scandal coming out of Odessa Permian High School. So
your entire worldview about high school football is just Friday Night Lights the book.
They duct taped a guy to a goalpost. I would be like, I don't see the problem with that. I need the rest of the day. Anyway, we're talking about hate.
You know what the biggest problem in Friday Night Lights the movie is?
What?
Do you remember the movie?
It's been a while.
Tim McGraw plays the dad.
Tim McGraw does play the dad.
And he overplays him a little bit. The first practice of the year, Tim McGraw walks onto the field and beats the shit out of his son in front of everybody, and nobody says anything.
That's what I'm saying. This was when men were men.
Right.
This was when...
He beats the shit out of him in front of everybody. The coach says nothing. The players say nothing. They're like, oh, okay, cool. He's just beating the shit out of him.
Did they... I'm embarrassed to say, and you're going to hate this... maybe take my man card, Brandon. I'm embarrassed to say. Spoiler alert if you've never seen the movie, read the book, but did they win state in the end?
No.
They lose, right? That's what I
In reality, they got the shit kicked out of them at state. Dallas Carter.
And then in the movie, it was like...
In the movie, they lost it at the last minute. They were trying to score a touchdown to tie the game, and he fell just a little bit short. But in reality, Dallas Carter kicked the ever-living shit out of him.
And In the show, did they win? I stopped watching the show when the
I
writers
didn't. I never. I didn't watch.
I started.
The show.
It was good, and then
you know why I didn't watch the show? I didn't start watching it at the beginning. I never watch a show at the beginning. If it gets buzz,
there's no laugh track for you, so you didn't know when you're supposed to laugh. That's hard for you. Is that
if
why
a
you
show
stopped?
gets buzz, I'll dive in. So somebody gave me the DVDs like in 2006 of the first couple seasons, and I watched 2 episodes. And those high school players for Friday Night Lights guys for the Dillon Panthers, there was a fullback named Tim Riggins. I think that was his name.
Yeah.
He had an alcohol issue. He had 38-year-old man problems. This is a 15-year-old kid, and he's got 38-year-old man problems. I just couldn't get into it because of that.
He got arrested for beating his wife.
Right.
You're like, he's 16.
He got laid off at the power plant.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay, he's a 16-year-old kid.
I enjoyed the first. I think it was season 2. Got affected by the writer's strike. And I everyone said it got better after that, but I stopped it.
And what was her name on there? Minka Kelly? Woo.
That's the actress.
Yeah.
Lila Garrity, I think.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just to give that noise every now and then. Every man in the world knows what that means.
What an awesome show this has been. The Brandon opens up. He's like, I'm not watching a goddamn second of the Women's World Cup. Hazing.
Why did you start with the Women's World Cup? That was bullshit on your part. What was your... Okay, so it's 2023, right?
Yeah.
So that means 4 years ago was the last one. What was your favorite part of the 2019 Women's World Cup?
When we won it, I would say.
Yeah. Who scored the goal in the final game?
Probably, was it Abby Wambach, or was that... No, in all seriousness, I don't
name 5 U.S. women's soccer players right now.
Julia Ertz. Abby Wambach's probably retired, right? Fuck. Megan Rapinoe. This is her last go,
I'm going to
right?
give you credit for all these 3.
Alex Morgan.
That's my 4th, yes. I got a 5th one who definitely isn't on the team anymore, but I know her.
Is Lauren Holiday still playing?
No idea.
Lauren Cheney. She's from Indianapolis, Ben Davis High School, and then she married Drew Holiday.
There was Hope Solo. She existed.
What a name, by the way.
Yeah.
It's not. It seems cool at first, then you actually think about it, and you're like, the hope is so low that,
Oh, that's how you go? I was like, well, I'm on my own. Hope Solo. That's my hope is in me. Solo.
Oh. Okay.
But you went Hope so low.
So low. Yeah. The like this is like
you're just a sad fan.
Yes. Like it's just like Browns fans. Like, how do we feel? Browns
so
fans,
low.
how do we feel? Hope so low.
God, I hope Solo's a Browns fan.
I did pretty good. Are you trying to play Sporkle? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not trying to play Sporkle. I'm not trying to play Sporkle. I'm just saying
the Women's World Cup roster.
You put on a stand. You were like, "Oh, look at me!
You know what I am, and there are very few of us because in these times we live in, these very political times we live in, Brandon. If you tell the public that you will watch 1 second of the World Cup, you are a lib that is. I don't know. I'm not gonna make these arguments for other, but like if you say that you care about this, people think you're
a woke pussy.
Yeah, you're a woke pussy. But then the other side is like, I can't believe you're even going to pay one shred of attention to this. I fall in the middle where it's like, yeah, I will watch. I'm not going to have alerts on my phone of like the game starts in 2 hours. Let me clear my schedule to watch it. If it's on, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to cheer for the United States. I legitimately
might watch the championship match.
The World Cup a couple ago. I remember where I was. I forget the year though. I was watching in my place in Columbus. The fucking Brazil game when we were losing to Brazil. Our women were losing to Brazil. Brazil was playing the stall ball where they're like taking it into the corner and trying to like milk the clock.
Right.
And then Abby Wambach with the header at the last second to
see, you're doing
that
it
was
again.
Fucking awesome.
You just saw the highlights on Twitter.
I didn't see the highlights. I was watching
the highlights on Twitter.
So,
all you said was a highlight just now. That was a highlight conversation you just had.
I watched that whole game, Brandon.
See, they were trying to take the air out of the ball, and then Abby Wambach with the header. A bunch of other stuff probably happened too.
Okay, you want me to talk about in the 46th minute.
There you go.
There was
get into it.
There was that attack that went nowhere and fizzled because we lost possession.
That's the disappointing part of soccer.
You want me to talk about that?
I do watch the World Cup, the Men's World Cup when it comes around, and I probably will watch the championship match when we're in it for the women. But too many attacks fizzle in soccer. You get excited, you get fired up, and then it just.
That's why Gus Johnson, when Fox hired Gus Johnson, they wanted him to call the World Cup. That was the idea. it must have been this last one, the Qatar World Cup. Like that was what it was leading up to because they had Gus Johnson calling all sorts of soccer matches, and he couldn't. People didn't like it because he had the same mindset where he's like every single time the ball crosses the midfield line.
Yeah.
It's fucking on.
It's time
and
to get loud.
Here comes the goal. And then like the attacks would just fizzle, and he wasn't very good at like sensing when this might actually be a moment.
He was going 1 to 100 way too often.
Way too often. But what I was going to say about women's sports in general is I do enjoy watching women's sports from time to time, but like you have to pick a side, and for some reason like it's not enough to just be like I appreciate the skill that WNBA players have, but I'm going to be honest, I'm not really watching the WNBA.
Why did you decide today would be the day we talk about women's sports?
Because literally the World Cup starts, there's nothing going on in the world of sports.
There's plenty going on in the world of sports.
Then tell me what's going on in the world of sports.
Baseball.
There we go. Regular season baseball. Do you have Ohtani fever?
No, but
okay.
I don't.
Let's go back to the Women's World Cup.
I don't, but here's the thing. I feel like Ohtani is so damn unique and special that you almost can't talk about him in high enough regard.
Yeah.
He might hit 50 home runs this year, and he might lead the league in strikeouts as a pitcher. He might do both of those things.
I saw a graphic the other day it was comparing Aaron Judge last year, his hitting stats, to Ohtani's hitting stats this year. Ohtani, as a hitter alone, is having a better season than Aaron, like slightly. It was very close, but that was the point of the comparison. He's having like a comparable, we'll say, hitting season to Aaron Judge last year, who the New York media machine was convincing everybody. What the fuck was that last year with Aaron Judge, by the way? TJ, plug your ears. TJ's a Yankees fan, but
I know TJ. You don't have to introduce me to TJ.
I'm telling my audience.
Okay, all right.
I'm reminding my audience.
Fair. You were looking at me.
I'm reminding the audience, Brandon. Why did we pretend like Aaron Judge had a historic season last year? Because he hit like what ended up being like the 8th most home runs in a season?
He broke the Yankees record is.
Who cares?
But why would anybody care about the Yankees record?
Who cares about the Yankees record?
We did spend September with ESPN, and it wasn't us. It wasn't the fan at large, but ESPN and the baseball people were telling us, oh my God, they were cutting into college football games to show you at-bats of Aaron Judge as he hits his 59th. Well, 59 isn't really that special of a number anymore.
No.
However, going back to Ohtani, if Ohtani were just a hitter, he would be in conversation for the best player in baseball.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's having right now a season that Aaron Judge had last year, but Aaron Judge did not pitch a baseball.
Ohtani has 35 home runs. It's not August yet.
It's crazy.
And he might hit 50. If he hits 50 home runs, and like
he's going to hit 50.
If he hits 50 and leads the league in strikeouts and has a good, I think his ERA is like 3.04 right now. MVP is not enough. You got to come up with
has to be something
super
more.
MVP trophy or something.
Yeah, but why do we pretend that Aaron Judge was just? That's still confusing me. And
because he's a Yankee. If he played for the Brewers, it wouldn't have happened.
Where's the cutoff in terms of like being able to use the word historic, I guess? What?
Well, again, if he plays for the Yankees, it's very low. Yeah,
just literally.
I mean, it's the same. This is the same franchise that held us hostage with Derek Jeter for. Remember that year-long fucking thing of every time he would go to another stadium, he would get a teddy bear and a CD or something. They would burn him a CD and say thank you for being a Yankee for all these years.
I think basketball, it's bad. Football is not as bad. Baseball doing a farewell tour when you play 162 games.
And it goes on 6 months.
Time you take the field.
Basketball's bad too, though.
Basketball gets bad.
Because you know why basketball's bad? Because in basketball, one player can fucking torch you. And it can absolutely destroy your team. One player can own you. And then, like, D. Wade's the last one, I think. D. Wade will just kill these teams. Like, why would Cleveland ever celebrate D. Wade?
Yeah.
Why would Boston ever celebrate D. Wade? Yeah. And then you have to sit here and say, yay, thanks for all your years of destroying us.
I absolutely hate that.
I think farewell tours are bullshit anyway.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a scenario where I don't think it's I wouldn't be annoyed by that, but it's the idea of giving your rival.
LeBron's going to have a farewell tour, and the entire world of social media and fandom is not going to be able to handle it. they're gonna it's gonna be every night. They're gonna destroy.
We couldn't handle LeBron passing Kareem's record.
Right.
And remember when they stopped the game and everyone's like, why the fuck would you stop the game? And then like
because they stop the game every time this has ever happened.
Every time, yeah. I won't lie. When they stopped the game, I did say that. I was like, oh come on.
They stopped the game for Drew Brees when he passed a couple years ago.
I think what made it worse though was there was like 12 seconds left in the third quarter.
That was weird.
So it was weird that they stopped it with like 12 seconds
yeah.
left. But I did say that out loud. I was like, "What? Why are we doing this? Why are we stopping the game?" And then I saw that everybody's like, "We do this for everybody." I was like, "Oh, I guess we do."
They stopped the game for Kobe a couple years ago when he did something. I can't remember, but it wasn't nearly as significant as what LeBron did. And when Kareem did it, they stopped the game for like 3 days. They came back 3 days later and finished the game. In a different city and everything.
What were we talking about? Ohtani. We were talking. To your point about Ohtani, I agree that it's hard.
MVP is not enough.
It's hard to talk about him because it's once you've kind of done the orgasm of just
right.
like, oh my God, I've never seen this. Then there's nothing left to say.
We're
just
also
like, this is insane.
We're in right now, and it should have applied last year, but we're in like a period for the next 5 years where anybody winning MVP, if he's in the league, is bullshit. Mm-hmm. Because you can't. He's one of the best hitters.
That's what everyone was saying last year. But the Yankees.
Judge hit 62, and that's great. Nobody is as valuable as the guy who hits 40 home runs and also doubles as your best starting pitcher.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Doesn't he lead the league? Doesn't he lead all of major? I don't know if he does now because they're playing so many games and the stats change so fast. But he was leading the league in triples as well. That's the thing about Ohtani that nobody talks about that like really fucking blows my mind. On top of all this, is he's a fantastic base runner as well. That's insane.
Yeah.
Because if you say we've never seen this before, then there's somebody out there I'm sure is like, yeah, but Babe Ruth. Like Babe Ruth used to pitch and mash home runs,
but so that was different. That was the dead ball era. And once he started hitting, they just said, you're not pitching anymore.
And Babe Ruth on top, and even if you want to make that comparison, Babe Ruth was a fat fuck that couldn't run. And Ohtani is like stealing bases.
Well, now hold on. I'm a baseball historian, Mark. And Babe Ruth could run better than you could think he could run.
But every highlight of Babe Ruth, he's waddling.
It's like those little spinny steps.
It's like Fred Flintstone.
He takes the smallest steps.
He's trying to start a car, Fred Flintstone. He's fucking waddling.
That's just how people ran back then. They took choppy steps.
If Babe Ruth lived 0.7 miles from Wrigley Field, I'm very confident he's getting an Uber. Babe Ruth is not walking to the field. If Babe Ruth played for the Cubs and lived 0.7 miles from Wrigley Field, he's not walking to work. That dude's not walking to work.
What was the 1920s Uber?
It's a horse and buggy.
Just Babe Ruth showing up on a horse and buggy every day. Yeah, no, Babe Ruth was probably not he didn't care how walkable a city was.
Is this interesting to you? Because I had this thought the other day.
Probably not.
We live in a time, talking about Ohtani, we live in a time as American sports fans where football is the only sport now where the best players are American. And I think if you stop someone will disagree. I think right now in the four major sports, it's kind of inarguable who the best players are. It is Patrick Mahomes in football. Mm-hmm. Or do you want to stop me there?
No, you're good.
I'm not saying MVP or I'm not.
No, Patrick Mahomes is the best player in football.
Okay, all right. Connor McDavid, who is a Canadian man in hockey. We have Shohei Ohtani, a Japanese man in baseball. Mm-hmm. And then in basketball, it's Giannis or Jokic right now. It's pretty obviously Jokic, given the run he just went on, who's Serbian. Is that of note to you? That we are at a time where
I think it's pretty awesome. I don't.
Because you're a globalist.
I'm not a globalist per se. When it comes to sports, I am. I want but I think let's just focus in on basketball. I think the Europeanization.
That's the word.
The Europeanization. The Europifying of basketball has been good. It's been awesome.
Okay.
And a lot of people trace it back to like the Dream Team,
because you want to see more white guys in the NBA, and
yes,
you like
noted white guy Giannis Antetokounmpo, noted white guy Victor Wembanyama. Yes.
Okay.
That's who I want to see. Those white guys. But no, listen, I think Nikola Jokic, the way he plays, like I think the evolution of basketball was helped tremendously by it opening up to the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Because even back then they played a different – it was more open. It was more freewheeling. It was more passing and stuff. And I think that has helped American basketball tremendously.
I agree with you. I think having multiple styles of basketball work makes basketball more interesting, and why – I mean, I obviously on the show a lot do rants about NBA versus college and why I prefer college, but – I still like NBA, but like one of the big ones for me is that the stylistic differences in college, and you can watch a college game and you have teams that are trying to win by scoring 55 points, and you have teams that are trying to win by scoring 110 points, and both of them can work. Virginia's won a national title. North Carolina wins national titles.
Do you really like watching a team who tries to win by scoring 55?
I do love when Virginia was at their peak. They were really, really fun to watch for me. I genuinely believe that they were fun to watch.
My thing,
but I'm smarter than most people, so like I think I just see the game at a level a lot of people.
My thing about your argument that you like college more than pro basketball is fine. I can see it, and there are elements of college basketball I like more. But if you just look at it from a basketball perspective, I just can't see how anybody would ever think that, because the basketball in the National Basketball Association is so superior to what they play in college.
Well,
the shot making.
It's going back to what I was saying about it honestly is the same logic to me as to why I don't want the DH in the National League, because I do think it is interesting. I find it more compelling theater at times to watch. If you are a coach that has a ton of talent, you brought in a ton of like a John Calipari at Kentucky, just like I'm not even talking about one specific team that he had, but like he brings in like this great recruiting class. They're all supposed to be 5 stars. Yeah. But then he finds out in mid-November already, before Thanksgiving, he already knows that his freshman point guard, who was supposed to be awesome, is a black hole, is a turnover machine. And now he has to figure out, how am I going to win basketball games where the guy who has the ball in his hands most is going to fuck me, but he's also going to make spectacular. And watching coaches like have to coach around that and figure that out, I find it compelling. In the same way, I genuinely found no DH in the National League. I find it compelling where you're on a rally. It's the 7th inning and you're down like 3, and now you got 2 guys on and there's 1 out, and now your pitcher's coming up, but your pitcher's dealing, and you're like, fuck, if I pinch hit for him, I got to take him out. But also, like those decisions are fun for me. And I think the NBA, where it becomes less compelling, you're absolutely right. They're way more talented, but like when guys can just come down and rise up over dudes and splash a 3 in your face, which it is, I appreciate the talent, and I'm like, that's really, really fucking hard to do. But as a viewer, there's something more interesting to me when you have a team of guys who can't do that, and now it's like, we got to figure out a way to put the ball in the basket when all of us are going to be accountants in 5 years. That is compelling.
I guess that I find that compelling. To me, it often gets frustrating. You say compelling, I think it gets frustrating. Watching a tournament game where you'll have a number 3 seed against an 11 seed. That doesn't match up at all. But anyway, no, yeah, it does. Yeah, you can have 3 against an 11 in the second round. You have a 3 against 11, 2 pretty good teams, and they're combining to go 3 of 39 from 3-point range. Like that's just that college basketball gets stagnant a lot. I think that
it does, yeah, but it gets bad. But that's what I think, having the variety that makes you appreciate the good more. Like it gives you the whole, like if you were doing like an array, a spectrum of like good basketball and bad basketball, the college basketball spectrum is just like 10 miles long.
Yeah.
The NBA one is probably it's skewed more towards good, but then like it's just like a sliver. It's like a very small sliver, and it is very far on the I don't know what the spectrum that I just created on the right, I guess, is the good basketball. It's very far to the right.
You usually tend to go to the left.
Maybe so. I don't know, Brad. Depends on. But it's a smaller sliver, and I find the wider range of like, and it's a wider range with teams can play like absolute dog shit one night and then not miss the next night, and I don't need to do it. The whole reason I brought this up though is I was ultimately agreeing with your point that the what'd you call it? The Europeification?
Europeification.
Europeification. I think that's awesome for the NBA, because I do think that having dudes coming into the league that approach the game differently, and all of them are, I think it is important to see fat, slow dudes like Jokic and Luka being dominant.
You remember when a European white guy would get drafted? This was no more than 5 or 6 years ago. A European white guy would get drafted like number 4, and the talking heads would just shit on him.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't
That's
fucking
what
believe.
Yeah.
Like, it was Porzingis, right? When they drafted Porzingis, they were like, I can't fucking believe they took this Porzingis guy.
Andrea Bargnani.
Bargnani
goes number 1 in 06.
06, yeah.
06, right.
It went Bogut, then Bargnani, right? Or was it Bargnani, Bogut?
Darko in 03 goes number 2.
Yeah. Darko.
That's really funny. The Pistons then won the title like immediately.
Yeah.
So like you want to rip on them for fucking up the draft pick, but also
they won the title.
Like if they draft Carmelo, like
Yeah.
Larry Brown's not playing Carmelo. He's just putting rookie Carmelo on the bench and saying like that's a very funny what if. That's like I don't think the Pistons are mad at all about drafting Darko.
No, because they weren't going to be able to throw a Carmelo or a D Wade into what they had.
That's what I mean. Yeah, like if they draft Carmelo and Larry Brown is the coach, who's like
and
a notorious
remember how
hard
those
ass.
Pistons played. They were going to get in your fucking face. They were going to defend.
Yes,
and then
yes,
they had enough scoring to win.
Yeah.
Hamilton would score, Tayshaun would score, but Carmelo, he's not getting his 30 shots. He's not getting his 25 shots.
What if Darko was actually the right pick? I mean, it kind of what they won a title. What if it was like we drafted a guy we don't want to play?
I've seen arguments
we're not gonna play him.
that based on what they had coming back, Darko was the right pick. If Darko had turned out to be what they thought he was going to be.
I think Darko
all-time great name, right? Darko Milicic.
And also Darko won a title. How many millions of dollars do you think he made in the end?
I'm going to guess he made 30.
Isn't it funny that we treat athletes differently than like all the people that love to do the at my job, if I took my helmet off and swung it at somebody I would be thrown in prison for 6 years. How come this guy gets to play?
You also don't get paid for tackling somebody.
Yeah, but the people that make those arguments then don't flip it around and treat athletes like people where it comes to like when you look at like how much effort they put in. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, if you want to do that, then why can't we also look at a guy like Darko Milicic and be like, he might have had one of the greatest careers of all time.
Well,
he never played.
We act like
his cash checks.
We act like a guy who was a bust is like a criminal against society. Yeah. We act like he is an outcast, like he's got leprosy. Like, oh, that guy, he was a bust.
If I told you though that I have this friend, I have a buddy of mine who, well, I guess I'm now thinking about it. Like you just said bust, and I'm saying, but like this might apply to Greg. I might just be described. But if I told you I had a friend that he sells insurance for a living. He's not a superstar at all. He was hired at this firm to be a guy that was gonna bring in a lot of sales.
Sure.
He's not. He sucks. He's actually kind of lazy. He's like, he has no work ethic whatsoever.
Right. It's just not working out.
It's not working out. But he's got a massive contract.
You don't judge him as a failure.
No, right? It's the exact opposite.
That dude got a bag.
That guy's fucking on. Like, good for him.
He can't sell insurance at all.
Yeah. But the athletes, you're like, what a bum. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Darko won a title.
That's like Kwame Brown makes that point a lot, right? Yeah. Kwame, who's just an Instagram star in his car all of a sudden. But Kwame Brown's like, yeah, people call me a bust. I made $130 million.
Dude, what a life.
Life's pretty good.
Yeah. I could have done what I did, or I could have woke up at like 4 a.m. every day and gone to the gym and grinded and all this so that like 14-year-olds on Reddit would argue that I'm one of the top 120 players instead of like, who gives a shit about that? Like the idea of, I can't imagine, that would really, really suck to be in a position where you feel like you have to care about your legacy in general, and in sports or life or otherwise. If you're someone who's like, all right, I'm now 51 years old. It's now time to start considering what my legacy will be. Mm-hmm.
I'm already considering my legacy.
That sucks.
I'm 44. What will my legacy be? I pushed a guy. I insulted a sponsor. I think that's my legacy is going to trend negatively. But I got a fucking bag. Yeah. So
I don't envy.
Did I hear that you referred to Barstool as your live tour bag?
It is my live tour bag. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it was a sellout. It was like the second I signed on here, I just got a lot of shit from people like, how can you work for that man? And I was like, which one? They're like, how can you cash checks from that man? I was like,
good point.
I was like, great point, but you're gonna have to be more specific. There's a lot of bosses that I have that
Can I share something devastating that's just happened in my life?
Please.
We're doing this at 10 o'clock. It's right now 11:03. And I did this at this time of day because I was coming down to pick my mother-in-law up at the airport, who's flying in to spend a couple of weeks with us.
Where's she flying in from?
Memphis.
Okay.
Mississippi to Memphis. So she's flying in from Memphis, and I just got a text, and I was going to time it perfectly. I was going to leave here, go to the airport, go home. My wife said, Mom had to take a later flight. She'll get here at 7 o'clock tonight. So now I'm going to have to drive all the way back home and then all the way back again. Unless you want to go to the Cubs game. Do the Cubs play today?
They do. They play tonight. Yeah.
Tonight. Fuck.
They play at 7.
If they played an afternoon game, I'd clean go to it.
Again, I say, this house of yours made a lot of sense when you were out fishing. And,
Buddy, it's so nice,
all
though.
the lands and all that.
It's so nice.
When it comes time to participate in society, it becomes a little more of a...
I'm so far out that nobody in my town considers them part of the Chicago Metro. They just exist
absolutely. You literally live closer to Milwaukee than Chicago.
I do.
Literally, that's not a joke. That is,
I've already told the Barstool people that when you need to fly me somewhere, my home airport is Milwaukee. It's not O'Hare. So I'm going to be flying out of Milwaukee.
Is your mother-in-law flying into O'Hare?
No, because I couldn't get a direct flight from Memphis.
You could afford the...
No, I couldn't. She didn't want to. She didn't want to layover.
Okay.
So it just fucks me. I'm the one that has to drive to O'Hare. So whatever.
She is flying into O'Hare.
She is.
Okay, but okay.
I thought you were asking if she was flying to Milwaukee.
Are you picking her up at O'Hare?
I'm picking her up at O'Hare. Yes.
Can you answer me this, because I'm getting excited about college football. And I saw the Kirby Smart quote about his schedule,
right,
where he was just like,
"Come play it."
Yeah. That was the quote, right?
Come play.
Like, he was saying it to all the other teams, like,
If you think our schedule's easy, come play it.
Come play it, and let's see how you do.
Right.
And every single coach of like the
every
top
coach
50,
is a fucking hypocrite, man.
Every coach in the top 50 is like, I will gladly play that, and
every coach is that. And like to Kirby, I would say, yeah, why don't you play it without the best player at every position on your team?
Well, my question,
of course, you're confident about it because you go out and get the best players.
My question to you is, how do they get away with this? How can you win? This is,
well,
I would be losing.
It's not their fault. First of all, it really isn't. It's just that's a cop out, but it's the truth. Georgia has an SEC schedule, which their SEC schedule isn't the easiest. They play at Auburn, who's a rival, who's not very good right now, but they play at Tennessee. That's not easy. But they had Oklahoma on the schedule to open the season.
So they have one not easy game at Tennessee.
I mean, there will be some games that are like Florida for some teams wouldn't be that. Kentucky, whatever.
You've told me that Florida's
going to be trash.
Yeah,
yes.
Exactly.
But they had Oklahoma on the schedule, and they've opened up in recent years. Georgia has with Oregon. They've opened up with Clemson. Like, they have shown the ability. They played Notre Dame.
Sure.
They've shown the ability and the want to go out and play teams. This year they were going to play Oklahoma, but the SEC stepped in and said, "Hey, y'all can't play each other because we're getting ready for Oklahoma to come in." So that's why they're not playing Oklahoma this year.
So they can't.
They have an easy schedule.
But I'm just trying to picture a world where the back-to-back national champion in college basketball had this kind of a schedule.
Like, well, I mean, it would have been Gonzaga if they'd ever won it, right?
Yeah, but Gonzaga has like a really tough. Gonzaga will play anybody.
College basketball is different because you play 11, 12 non-conference games.
Yeah,
and so college football you play 2 or 3.
So in this world of a playoff system where you know the old way of thinking of like the second you lose a game you're out of national championship contention. That's gone. Why not? Why are teams not scheduling? Why can't like I don't know. I guess there are reasons, but it's as a fan, that's frustrating as fuck. It really is to have a team that's won back-to-back national titles. They're going to be the number one team in the country going into the season, and they're playing that schedule, and you're just like, whether it's Georgia's fault or not.
Typically, an SEC schedule is going to be difficult enough to where it covers the bases, and then they had the Oklahoma thing come out. But if you talk about Georgia's schedule, you also have to add a 13th game, which is going to be Alabama or LSU. I mean, to get in the national title picture, they're going to have to win the SEC championship game. So they're going to have Alabama or LSU at the end of the schedule. So looking back, they're probably going to have 2 or 3 really tough games. And that's not that many. But hell, look at Michigan's schedule. Michigan's non-conference is like it's last year it was UConn, it was Colorado State, and it was Hawaii. This year it's not much better. So how do they? Is there if you did this in basketball, you get punished for it? Like if Georgia. No, you don't get punished for it really in football.
Like if Georgia plays, if this was basketball, Georgia plays the schedule, even if they've won back-to-back titles, They go undefeated. I'm working under the assumption they're not going to beat everybody 56-0. They probably might.
Yeah.
They probably might.
I don't know. Those words don't really go together.
Don't go together at
it's
all.
Fine.
They could. Georgia could destroy
and you replace
everybody.
Probably might with could. Thanks.
Probably could.
Uh-huh.
But let's work under the assumption they win every one of these games by like 1 or 2. Well, by 2 touchdowns. They win by 2 touchdowns.
Sounds like you haven't really worked this out in your head yet.
Brandon, just stick with me. This is very straightforward. If Georgia goes undefeated and it's not like a historic beatdown of opponents, they are the 4 seed in the playoff. If this is college basketball, the committee gets together and they're like, "Fuck you for playing that schedule.
Well,
that was the easiest schedule of all time. We don't care that you went undefeated. Take this 4 seed."
Here's the difference.
But that's not going to happen. They're going to be will there ever be a world where football will be that way? Where you will be rewarded for
because football loves its preseason rankings a lot more than any other sport. It does, and if a team is ranked number 1 in the preseason in football and they don't lose, they're not going to lose that ranking ever.
But is there a world where the playoff committee could say, that's great that the AP had you at number 1 the whole year, but you didn't?
Don't you think it would be difficult to dock the 2-time defending national champs who are still undefeated? And I understand their schedule isn't much, but I just don't see a world where they're going to dock them. The playoff committee.
I know that's my whole point. That's frustrating that they that's how it is. Like because the system should be that you have to.
We can get worked up about this. We can get and you can get frustrated. I understand that there are frustrations within the ranking system of football and all that. But at the end of the day, when they show up to the playoff, they're going to beat some poor team from the Big 12 by 60 points.
They're probably going to win the national championship.
So they're still the best team. Them having a weak schedule sucks.
But so the college football right now, where we sit, is like we're ushering in this new era where
we're in a weird spot right now.
It's a very weird spot.
Yeah.
Because there's a new era coming in where the playoffs getting expanded. Everyone's going to get a seat at the table theoretically. The days of, the good old boys just kind of like putting their thumb on the scale, so the powerhouses always meet, and like those. If the
thumb is still on the scale, Mark.
That's what I'm saying.
It's called NIL, and the thumb is still on the scale.
Well, I don't even mean that. I mean the thumb is on the scale with how you're gonna. The fact that you're saying that a 2-time defending champion, if they go undefeated, they are guaranteed to be the one. Like, to me, the perfect world we live in. Fuck what you did the last 2 years. Like, that's great. That is all. It was impressive. It was good. It's good. But that has no bearing on this year. But should not matter.
People do look at college football.
But that's how college football works. That's how it's always worked.
But people do look at college football with a little bit too much of a critical eye, because people talk about college football like this. They say, well, it's the same 4 or 5 teams every year. It's the same team winning it every year. They say that about college football. TCU played for a national championship 8 months ago.
Yeah.
Like, that happened. TCU happened just now. Right. They got destroyed and embarrassed, but TCU, who was 5-7 a year before, nobody thought was going to be any good, marched through a season, did enough to play for a national title. So if it happened then, it can happen every single year.
Yeah.
Probably won't, but everybody acts like nothing surprising ever happens in college football when it does.
It does. I like college football, Brandon.
Well,
I like it.
How about college basketball?
Why are you yelling at me?
I was thinking about something with college basketball the other day when I was thinking about UConn having just won the national title and everything.
Yeah.
Do you want a Final Four like that every year, or again, where it was just 4 random ass?
We talked about this. We talked about this during the Final Four. My issue wasn't. I don't care about the branding of it. Like, yeah. I really don't. I don't care if you're a bunch of mid-major. Sure. Schools that don't move the needle in terms of their name. I care more about how good I think the teams are, and whether, like, I look at it as like I want the Final Four and whoever wins the national championship to be like the time capsule representation of that year of college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a year where there are like 2 or 3 teams that I feel like are way better than everybody, you have to go out and earn it. I'm not saying that we should just like let them play in the Final Four or anything else, but as a guy who I do look at the stuff historically and all that. Like, it's frustrating sometimes to look back and be like, I don't think Butler in 2011 was one of the best teams in the country, and the fact that they were like there in the mix. 2010, I didn't have a problem with. They were really fucking good that year. That's where my frustration is. So, like, my problem with the Final Four this year is I didn't think that I thought UConn was
UConn was great.
Great all season. Yeah. They were great all season.
They had that lull in February where they had injuries.
I thought San Diego State was a really good team. I think FAU is going to be really good this year. And I think if FAU goes to the Final Four this year, it's a little more palatable. But, yeah, I think that was the issue.
We're probably going to see them play this year.
Oh, yeah, they're gonna.
Mm-hmm.
Is TJ,
I don't think so. I don't think.
Is Brandon doing his thing where he's announcing shit that he has no? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Good job, Brandon.
I think
you're
it's
so good at this.
Well,
so
you said I could talk about it. Do you want to talk about it some more? By the way, well, I haven't said the name.
No, I don't.
Okay,
I want to talk about how the system is rigged against Ohio State in college football, and we should have beat Georgia last year, and I'm very frustrated.
Time out.
That's what I want to talk about.
Can I just give me a 20? Give me a 20.
That's what I want to
Was all of that bitching about Georgia?
No, it wasn't. I'm kidding.
About Ohio State?
I'm kidding.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
Because nobody's as coddled as Ohio State.
No, you're right, and it is frustrating as an Ohio State fan. If I'm going to shit on other people's schedules, it is frustrating for Ohio State. Ohio State.
You realize y'all should have won the national title, right?
We should have won the national championship.
There's no reason you didn't win the national title.
Well,
you had Georgia on the
targeting
ropes.
against Marvin Harrison that they pick up the flag and say, "Oh shit, it was Georgia, our bad. Let's wave it off because it was Georgia."
Listen,
that changed the game.
I don't like Georgia. I don't like Ohio State. I'm as down the middle as possible. I still don't think that was targeting.
Okay, that's fine.
And
that's fine.
Marvin Harrison going out of the game had nothing to do with an Ohio State defensive back just falling down.
That is true. Taking the most talented player who's ever maybe in the history.
Oh, that's how that.
In the history
we're putting him that high now. He's the greatest player in the history of the game.
In the history of Ohio State football, Marvin Harrison Jr. might be the most talented player. He might be the most talented player to ever wear an Ohio State football jersey.
Orlando Pace exists.
I know he does.
Eddie George exists.
Marvin Harrison Jr. exists. I'm not telling you he's going to have the best career. I'm telling you in terms of the raw fucking talent that guy has.
He had 79 catches last year, which is good, but it's not like he didn't have 150. Why are you so upset?
Because I don't watch stats. I watch the man play football.
You do watch stats.
I don't fucking
everything you see is logged as a number.
So my evaluation of how talented players are is not like, let me check the box score at the end of the game.
Listen, I'm not saying that
I'm
either.
Telling you,
but to tell me that he's the most talented player you've ever had at a place that's had.
I said he might be. I said there's. I'm saying if you watch every.
You're the one that's having to cover your tracks now, not me.
I'm not. I'm very consistent with what I've said. If you watch every fucking snap that this guy takes, the routes he runs, the catches he makes, he might be the most. He could.
Are you rapping right now? That rhymed pretty good.
Orlando Pace is the best. Orlando Pace is the best Ohio State football player ever.
Orlando Pace was ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, Archie Griffin had the best career, but Orlando Pace is the most.
College career, yeah, okay. He won 2 Heisman's. It's hard to
but Orlando Pace.
I don't think he should have won the second one.
Orlando Pace, my frustration with Ohio State fans is that there aren't nearly enough Orlando Pace jerseys at games.
I like that.
There aren't. Like if I was going to get an Ohio State football jersey and get an old school player on the back, it would 100% be Orlando Pace.
This reminds me of a question.
And not enough people do that.
I want to have this conversation with you because a lot of people in the South, especially, they have problems with adults wearing jerseys to games. Okay, I don't have a problem with it at all. I think if you want to wear a jersey, wear a jersey. Not a big deal to me. What's with I've been to 2 baseball games this year. I went to a game, both Cubs games. I went to the Cubs Brewers a couple weeks ago in Milwaukee, and I went to Cubs Red Sox the other day. If you wear a jersey to a game, why would you go to a Cubs game right now wearing a Chris Bryant jersey or a Javi Baez jersey? Or every Cubs jersey I've seen at these 2 games has been a guy that doesn't play for them anymore. Now, Sandberg, I could get. Like, that's nostalgia. Yeah. But why would you wear a Anthony Rizzo jersey?
Okay, so I think I agree with you in principle in terms of, like, wearing a guy who's active on another team.
Yeah.
That feels very weird. I think – and I am a Cubs fan, so I'm biased and
just because they won it? And
I think if I would defend those people is that team, the guys who are the core of the World Series team – have already in the moment elevated themselves to Cubs legend status. That
they're living legends among us.
They are living legends amongst the Cubs fans to where, like, when they left the Cubs, it's almost like they retired anyway or died anyway. And it's just like Chris Bryant being on the Rockies, we don't give a fuck.
It's bullshit that the Cubs let those guys walk. They should have kept those guys for
you know
forever.
What's interesting? Like, they all suck.
That is weird. Well, Rizzo's pretty good.
Rizzo's not bad, yeah. But like Javi Baez
is not good.
Not good at all. Javi Baez is very, very bad. Chris Bryant has not been great.
I thought when the Cubs won that World Series that they were going to win 4 or 5.
I thought they were going to win 8 in a row.
Right? I thought because they were all young. They were all like 23. Yeah. And I was like, they're just never going to lose again. Because remember when the Red Sox finally broke through in 2004, they won 4 more times. They won 3 more times.
Yeah.
And I thought the Cubs were going to do the same thing, and they just almost immediately stopped being good at baseball.
But it doesn't matter because they got the one. That's all that matters. To your point about jerseys, I don't really have a problem. As I've gotten older, I wear jerseys less and less. But it's not like a judgment thing. It's not like
I like wearing jerseys.
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's weird that you put the guys who are like, why would you wear a grown man's name on?
That doesn't bother me.
On the back of your jersey, another grown man's name on the back of your jersey. I'm like, I've already, at this point in time, when I'm at this game, I have already spent an absurd fucking amount of money to watch grown men throw a ball around.
Let me tell you something.
And play a child's game.
I lay on the couch and watch these guys play. I spend $200 in tickets and parking to come watch these guys play. Putting his name on the back of my
that's the
least of my concerns.
That's the least of the concerns at that point. Like we've already reached
clearly I'm obsessed with this guy or these guys. It's like that this doesn't prove anything.
Yeah, I skip family members' weddings on fall Saturdays to watch 19-year-olds fucking throw a football around. And then the second, like, I put Shohei Ohtani's name on my back, you're like, whoa, dude, you got problems. A guy in the South will
wake up at 5 a.m., stuff his Tahoe with every grill that you can and food and everything and beer. He'll go out and he'll tailgate for 7 hours. And he'll see somebody with a jersey like, whoa, dude, guy.
Loser.
You're too obsessed.
All right, I think that's enough. I think we've Are
you excited about The Daily Show?
Trevor Noah leaving. I don't know if that was. I don't know. I think when Jon Stewart left, for me, it just kind of at that point.
It died.
It died. Is that what you meant?
That's what I meant. Yeah. This guest host era just isn't hitting.
I am. TJ, what are we authorized to talk about with this show?
I'm getting graphics updated. We should announce it by like showing people something rather than just telling people something.
Can we talk about like it's when the new office opens? Is that when we're doing it? Or
I think so.
So I believe we're going to take the first week or so in the new office to time out and practice the show, and then mid-September.
What is this today then?
What do we practice? What does practice look like?
This was a show with only Mark prepping anything at all. Like we're actually going to do a show.
Mark didn't prep a goddamn thing for this show.
I know that you.
Women's
hold on.
World Cup.
I know.
Mark did not prep a goddamn thing.
I know that the United States women
World
play
Cup.
Vietnam on Friday to open up the World Cup, and that's more than you know, Brandon. That's more than you know.
Our problem with the Daily Show is going to be this. It's slotted for an hour every day. When we get to an hour and we're still talking, are we just going to keep talking off the air? Are we just going to keep going?
I guess so. So if we're doing practice shows, TJ, what happens? Like if I have bomb ass takes. Yeah. Are we not putting these shows out? The practice show? Are we putting this show out?
I don't think we're going to have to worry about your bomb-ass takes.
Brandon did all right, so I guess we could put this.
What happens if I have like a great fucking monologue where I was on a roll?
Do you really think that's going to happen?
We just clip it.
We can clip it and use it for a promo for the show. Be like,
we actually, when we did the Brandon Walker show, and TJ can say this, we set aside a week to practice. I think we practiced for 30 minutes once, and we're like, what are we doing? We got it. We're fine, right?
Yeah. But the first one was rough because you kept like stopping talking and being like, I don't even know what I'm talking about right now.
I don't remember that at all.
It'll be good. It's less for you guys and it's more so for the tech side of things. Figuring because like it's a new office. I'm assuming there's going to be issues.
How toxic is Brandon as a in terms of like trying to get sponsors for a show and stuff like that? Like, do I have to worry about that? Am I gonna have to go out?
I give the show like 4 months before you guys start fighting each other physically in the studio.
Yeah, I'm worried about that in terms of like meeting with some Fortune 500 companies want to be presenting sponsors, but
they're already lining up anyway.
They don't love Brandon's association with the show. Like, is there a way? I don't know. We'll figure that out.
I have a talking point for you guys that'll be good for a clip. Do it if you do a minute on it. Barbie and Oppenheimer. What are you guys seeing first? Are you seeing either of them? Go.
Oh, good question. I want to do the double feature. I think
is everybody just lying about that? That many people? You're gonna go see Barbie. Why would you go see Barbie?
Dude, what is wrong with this guy?
Barbie is a toy line aimed at 6-year-old girls. You're not a 6-year-old girl. Why is everybody lining up to see Barbie?
Is he serious?
This is exactly what I wanted to happen.
Have you ever had a thought outside of your little rural Mississippi bubble?
First of all, I live in suburban Chicago. Okay,
no, you live in the suburbs of the suburbs.
I live in suburban Milwaukee. How about that? But I okay, progressive, whatever. Margot Robbie, beautiful, great actor. What are you lining up to see Barbie? Have you seen the guy that plays Ken and how ridiculous he looks in this movie?
That's the whole point of the movie. I think Greta Gerwig has earned my trust as a director. I think
name 3 other things she directed.
There's Lady Bird.
Sure.
There was what's the one with Saoirse Ronan, where she was like the young.
By the way, I wasn't being sarcastic there. I just really needed you to tell me 3 things she directed.
I think that was also Lady Bird. It was called Lady Bird, by the way, right? Yeah. That's the one.
So Lady Bird.
Yeah.
Okay. I would go see Oppenheimer.
Here's a question: did Greta Gerwig direct Lady Bird? I think it is the contrast. That's it. If Barbie was coming out at any other time, I wouldn't probably see it. No, I wouldn't see it. It is.
How do you pair something with Oppenheimer? I've heard it's going to make you just make you question life. You're going to be a puddle at the end of the movie.
I think there is like a fascinating like human condition experiment with that's why people that you want like the full gamut,
and then you take the heavy.
Exactly. And you get the full gamut, and to do a double feature back to back, I think that's the appeal of it. So yeah, if Barbie came out in 3 months, no, I wouldn't be lining up to see Barbie. I don't care to see Barbie. It's that I want to see like you could not come out with more polarizing opposite movies.
Has there ever been a movie that you sat down to watch in the theater, and at the end you were like you're just worn out, it just destroyed you? Because Saving Private Ryan did that to me. When it ended, I was like, I just couldn't move.
Yeah. I don't know. Like Good
Burger got you.
Good Burger, yeah. I would say D2 when they beat Iceland. That was pretty fucking.
Here's
heavy.
my problem with D2.
God damn it.
Here's my problem with D2. Okay, in the first one, this team is a small rec team in a small city and are doing their thing, and they win a rec league, right? Then all of a sudden, the America's team for hockey, for junior hockey, is this group and a cowboy who's never played hockey, a street hockey player, a skater who's never played hockey. How is this the best and brightest?
I think it speaks.
And when did Iceland become our enemy?
I think it speaks more to the Junior Pan Am Games. I think to the level of competition at the Junior Pan Am Games. Well, they were gonna didn't they want to do like Russia for D2, but then they felt like that was too
on the nose.
Too on the nose, so they had to do Iceland.
So Iceland, we just said fuck Iceland.
Yeah, dude, I grew up thinking Iceland was
right.
Like
there's 40 people in Iceland.
I thought we were at war with Iceland, and
they were assholes too. They were just hockey playing assholes.
And then now I've gotten older, and it seems like, are we answering the question well, TJ? Is this a good clip?
I think we lost the point. I was gonna say I'm gonna watch Slam Ball on Friday night instead because that comes back on Friday.
Oh, is that coming back Friday? I didn't know it was coming back Friday.
I'm going to see You got to do Barbie first. You can't come out of Oppenheimer and then go see Barbie. There's no.
You can't do it in reverse. Yeah,
you can't do it in reverse. I feel like you come out of Oppenheimer. I mean, you just got to go home and stare at a wall.
I think Barbie would be a good way to get you back into the ridiculousness of life,
like a re-entry into the real world. Because I envision I'm going to see Barbie first, then I'm going to see Oppenheimer, and then I'm going to go home and just like stare at a wall.
Are you going to see them both Friday?
I don't. Probably not. It feels it's gonna be too crowded.
I don't see any movie on the first weekend.
Yeah, ever. I probably won't do it. I'll do a matinee like next Tuesday or something. I'll probably do that. A double feature that way. But yeah.
What?
I think this is a good. But do we have shout outs, TJ? Is there anything you want to say before we go?
No. I'm excited for you guys to be together in person. Start talking.
When are you coming out here?
Last week of August when the Yak moves. I'll be out there. It sounds like I'll be out there at least once.
Are you off the Yak? Did you lose your seat?
No, I'm here first. I mean, Big Cat's coming next week.
Oh, is he?
He's off the Yak on Friday, so.
Okay, that's cool. Do you have any shout outs? You want to shout out anybody?
That's what you do at the end of your show.
I do. Yeah, just random. Just kind of go through some shit, and you're just like, shout out to.
Shout out my mother-in-law for missing her flight and making me have to drive back in Chicago today. I appreciate that.
All right.
Go explore the office, Brandon. There's some cool vintage, old school stores right around where
there's
you
a
are
bookstore.
Right now.
There's a bookstore.
There's a video game store. There's like a
Have you ever
comic
been to
book
Chicago?
store.
Is this your first time in the city?
Me and you have hung out in Chicago before.
That's right, we have. Yeah. Are we? Can I come fishing?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a long drive, but yeah.
I'll come out and we should do some promos on Brandon's. We should cut some promos for the show.
Okay, I want to cut promos at Wrigley. I want to cut promos on a basketball court, and then you come out on the boat.
Yeah, I would totally come out on the boat and fish.
And we can go play golf. We
should do a fishing. Yeah, we should do that. You're gonna like, I'm shitting all over you living so far away, and then I'm gonna come get a taste of it.
It's so good.
I'm gonna just buy a house in the neighborhood.
It's so good.
Yeah. All right. His name is Brandon Walker. He's not working currently because he doesn't really have anything to work on.
I'm doing the exact same thing you're doing.
Are you doing shows?
I'm doing some. I'm doing Unnecessary Roughness. I'm doing a podcast, a couple podcasts a week. I'm on the Titus plan.
You're not working as hard as I am. I'm putting out 2 shows a week.
I'm putting out more than 2 shows. All right.
Is that a record?
The damn show.
Is that a record, TJ? Look that up. Is that the highest output
yes, that's
of anybody?
the record.
2 shows a week. Go listen to whatever the hell Brandon's got going on. We're doing a live show. We'll announce the name soon enough. But when the new office opens, we'll be doing a show together. That's it. See you guys. Enjoy the weekend, everybody.